Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Between Realms. I am so thrilled today to have my dear friend, Sjm'S. Thank you so much for joining us for a wonderful conversation about, obviously, the Sjm'S verse on the brink of a phenomenal announcement, and we just have all this anticipation. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I am really excited. Obviously, we have a ton to talk about, a ton to unpack, because I think we both kind of have the general consensus of those were rapid fire questions, but were they really? A lot of that had some fishiness going on around it, and we want to unpack that here today. But also, we just love to spiral.
Yes, we do. That's like my thing. I love the spiral.
Yeah, you're the spiral queen. So I knew if I was going to spiral about this, I could not do that with anybody else but you.
I'm honored.
Yeah, no, thrilled. I guess in general, I kind of just want to start with women in fantasy. I mean, it's wonderful to have somebody to share this with, and the fact that such a huge theme in these books is friendship. It's nice to have this.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I think one of my favorite things is the female bonding in these books. You know, it's so female driven, and it's nice to see, because I don't know if we see that enough.
Yeah, no, the outline of how a female friendship can have all of these different sides to it and grow into something that's just as powerful as romantic love and change your life in so many ways that you could never imagine.
Absolutely. It is a different kind of love.
Yeah.
You know, and romantic love is something that we always put on a pedestal, but friendship is another form of wonderful love, you know,
yeah.
And it's great that you really get to see that in these books, and that's something I really enjoy about them.
Yeah, a lot of people, some of the greatest love they know is love from platonic friends.
Yeah.
It's the sweetest thing.
That's, you know, not to just jump completely right into Sjm'S, that's one of the reasons I love Silver Flames. I think that Nesta was healed.
Yep.
The power of friendship, you know, like as corny as that sounds, that's what healed her. I'm sorry, It was not Cassian.
No,
it was
no.
the girls. Yeah.
I saw my friendships in that, and you cry every time thinking about them out, and you're like, I would draw a line in the sand and do anything for my friends. Like,
and like them like having the bubble bath, and like eating the chocolate cake, and like, you know, it was just
sharing the books.
Yeah. It was
sweet.
Very beautiful.
Very, very sweet. No, it's wonderful. So transitioning to women getting to enjoy things, that was something that was really talked about in the Call Her Daddy podcast. I loved that they got to have the representation for that. We should get to be allowed to enjoy these things. Like, leave us in peace. The fun police, take a break.
I'm glad that Sjm'S called it out, especially now, because recently there's been an uptick in these conversations about whether or not things like
I live on a busy street. We can talk through it. It's normal.
Whether or not these genres that women like, these things that women enjoy, are they legitimate?
Yeah.
And, you know, I hate these conversations about if they are legitimate, because if they're not legitimate, what purpose do they serve, right?
What conversation is legitimate then? What do you determine legitimate? Like, where is the line?
And it seems to be something that women's interests are always attacked about, right? We don't question whether or not Game of Thrones is legitimate.
No.
And Game of Thrones, to be fair, it's not like Game of Thrones is just for men. That's not true. I love it. You know, I love Game of Thrones. But I do think that it's more male-centered.
Yes.
We don't talk about whether or not Dungeons and Dragons is legitimate. We would never have those, and I don't think we should have those conversations.
No, we're not opening that up by any means.
But that's the point, right? Like, I think that all of these things that bring people joy, they're all completely legitimate. And there's been so much online discourse about the things that women enjoy and whether or not they are legitimate. And they are. So I was really glad that she opened the conversation with, you know, these works are legitimate. They're important, and, you know, I'm curious about what you think about the connection between spice and women's literature and legitimacy, because that seems to be the thing that tips these conversations over the edge.
Yes, and that also is what ties this into our conversation about Game of Thrones as well, and also the sense that these are books that primarily have female main character perspectives. A lot of people have a hard time diving into that, taking that step. Men have a harder time stepping into a female perspective than women do stepping into a male perspective, and I think that's why Game of Thrones gets a much wider audience, as it's well deserved. I mean, it's phenomenal works, and it's always to be appreciated, and that is why I think we keep bringing it up in this conversation, and that just because this is a gruesome look at what life and history can look like, how history repeats itself. That's what I love most about Game of Thrones, is how history repeats itself, and you're not always going to be left with a happy ending. This is what reality is. This is what relationships really look like. This is what treachery really looks like.
Yeah.
But we get that. We get treachery. Why can't we have a happy ending? Why do we have to feel like I need to go hug somebody and sit in a corner for a little bit and think about my life and think about what we've done? And we need to think about what we've done. We need to think about where we're going in this world. But we won't have the strength to keep doing that if we don't find the joy in day to day, and we get to have things that bring us joy.
Yeah, that is something that I really enjoy about George R. R. Martin's works in general, is that you don't always have that happy ending.
Yeah.
As much as I'm a big romance reader, I love a happily ever after, but that's not always the case.
No.
And I think that it's important to contemplate what happens when you don't get that happily ever after, because that's actually more in line with being realistic, right? Things don't work out. I mean, if you've read any history textbook, life sucks sometimes,
it keeps going. There's not really an ending. Something's going to keep happening.
Despite something, when you don't have that happily ever after, you do have to endure, right? You have to keep going.
Yeah.
And, again, I don't want it to seem like I'm bashing Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. Yeah. I've rewatched that show way too many times, in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I love it all, Yeah. But again, we never look at his works as being illegitimate. No. And we do look at women's works as being the same way, even when they have dragons, right? Like Rebecca Yarros, another, it's another book about dragons, but we look at her work a little bit differently. And why is that?
It's interesting where we draw that line of what we're allowed. And what I also want to bring out, like you said, the spiciness in each of these stories versus the rape culture in Game of Thrones versus the consent. That consent is such a big theme that so much of this romantic storyline is taking you through. And what I commend Sarah J. Maas for is these wonderful examples of men. I think Game of Thrones gives us a wonderful reality of things, but from this other side, from Sarah J. Maas's side, it gives us a place of we can hold our partners to a higher standard. We can expect more for ourselves, for what we want, from our friendships, from our partners, from our relationships, all of it, from our family. And I love that we have the reality, this is what it looks like, but it doesn't always have to continue that way. We can be better people. People don't always have to stay terrible just because that's the inevitability of reality.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the example that it sets. I know somebody very specifically who got their partner to start reading the books and the changes that they made in their behavior because they were like, wait, I see what you're saying. It's a great way to step into somebody else's shoes.
I really think that that's one of the reasons, and again, I see at least 5 of these videos a week on, TikTok or Instagram, whatever, of, some guy saying these books are stupid. And I'm like, well, are they, or can you just not live up to the book boyfriends? I do wonder that, real men could never, even things like The Cruel Prince, which is a young adult series, right? I just finished it recently, and the male main character, even though it's a YA book, he's so lovely at times, right? And he's it is kind of like an enemies to lovers situation, but he says things like, kiss me until I'm sick of it. And real men don't talk like that to women. And I think that when women read these things, they have, well, no, that's what I want. That's what I deserve. And that's one of the reasons I do think these works are so important. They give women something to strive for, good, healthy relationships that involve not only good partners, but good intimacy, right? Consensual intimacy. And, and I think that, hot take maybe, I think men are threatened by that sometimes. I really do.
No, they're very threatened. And again, it's hard to step into that perspective and understand it, to be vulnerable with yourself. But in the same sense, to bring up something else that was on that Call Her Daddy Sarah J. Maas episode, her obsession with Legolas, because same, the fact that she loves Lord of the Rings as much as I love Lord of the Rings was all I needed to know, that I can sleep good at night and for going forward. But the way she talked about her husband feeling when she was the kissing marks on that.
That was she was so real for bringing that up.
I loved it. But how, and there's so many videos and it's so normalized to talk about our book boyfriends and all these things. how we find what we need out of these fictional characters, but then we won't turn around and demand it in our real lives. That we can be fulfilled, and that's a wonderful thing about these books, is that in reading in general, and that your brain will process this and it allows you to expand your perspective, see the world in new ways, and that's the importance of reading. You can fulfill a lot of your internal needs through reading, but to fill those needs and then know that you need it, to seek it out, but not demand it in real life, is something that I think is a very interesting conversation. How normalized book boyfriends are, but how different real life partners are. And it's few and far between to find somebody. I mean, if everybody reads the same book and everybody's looking for the exact same book boyfriend, there are far too many different people in the world. The point is you learn yourself, you learn who you are, you learn what you need, and you find somebody that supports that.
Yeah. And to that point too, something I do admire about Sarah J. Maas's works is that we have these examples of like the book boyfriends, right? Mm-hmm. Like everyone loves Rowan, everyone loves Han. I have my, my opinions on Rhysand, but I do like him as a character.
We share that.
I love him as a character, but I just don't think he's a good guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And while we have these ideals, we also have reality, and it is fantasy. But and she talked about this on the interview. Like, what happens if you get your period on the way to Mordor? You know what I mean? Like, and that's a real conversation, right? Like
that.
There, and I wonder if maybe part of the problem for men is that they don't have to deal with these realities. They don't have to shave their legs.
No,
they don't have to. They don't get periods.
Pay attention to any.
They don't have menstrual cramps, right?
Yeah.
So. Like, that's kind of not in the realm of, like, what men are thinking about. And I don't really expect them to. That's not their reality. They don't know that experience. But, to hear a woman talk about these things in the fantasy realm, it is very refreshing. Because, like, it is fantasy and it's lovely, but real things do happen, too. And
well, even just, like, the bathing. Like, the amount of times I'm reading something and I'm like, okay, this is a great sex scene, but when was the last time either of you bathed?
You just went to war. Recall. You were just in battle.
I cannot recall.
You're like, kind of gross.
The last page, we were talking about all the different blood that was on each other. So now there's like
what are we
licking.
Doing here?
I'm just imagining what this tastes like. I just, no thank you. No thank you at all.
No.
Yeah. I like that. That's something I'm like, there's enough. There's just enough baths that, like, it makes sense.
Just enough, but, like, bare minimum.
I would need more. I need a few more.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're like, I can't do this.
At least we had the whole lavender soap thing and Throne of Glass. At least that's a whole theme. Soap, at least, is a theme.
Yeah.
And Throne of Glass.
No, it is. Thank God.
Soap makes everybody cry now.
That soap does. Every time, the amount of edits I see of people crying about lavender soap. Dr. Bronner's, that brand, they sent me, like, sample sizes of their soap. It was all lavender soap. And I'm like, who sent me this? Who would send me this?
How dare you?
But honestly, it's great soap. So, like, I wasn't mad, but I was like, oh my God, they know me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lavender soap makes everybody cry online.
Yeah, no.
It's funny because, like, unless you know what that means, you don't know what it means. But, like, if you know, you're speaking a secret language. And I love that.
Yeah.
Soap.
No, I have like the native lavender soap and like their lavender deodorant.
No,
it's just my favorite scent, color, and flower. That's fine.
Oh no, me too.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just like one of my favorite conversations to talk about overall. And I mean, there's a million spirals to get into. I do have to admit, I'm still on the last two Crescent City books. So at least there won't be too many. I mean, I've given myself a few spoilers, so you don't have to worry about too much.
How do you like Crescent City?
I like it. I found it very interesting that she wrote it as almost like a reprieve from the other two stories. I was like, wow, that makes so much sense.
All right, we're gonna get into some hot takes.
Get it?
I think she's lying.
Yeah?
I think that Crescent City actually ties everything together. I don't trust authors in interviews. And I've been very vocal about this. This was actually the first time I sat down and watched an author interview.
Yeah.
In my entire life. It's something that I don't like doing because I do adhere to death of the author, right? Like this concept. And I really just wanted the announcement. So, we're watching it. I was waiting for the announcement.
Yeah.
And all of this back stuff, when I started hearing the way that she was talking about Crescent City, how it was like, this was a side project to get me out of this. I'm like, I think that you are a liar. Because it all comes together in Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
We're starting to see, and you still have 2 books to go.
Yes.
But you start to see all of the worlds come together, and you're like
seeing it come together. And I kind of wish I had read Crescent City before Throne of Glass just to kind of feel that, because now it's like I have this foresight of like where the puzzle pieces go. I'm just like, I know a shape goes there. I'm just waiting to be handed that shape. Yeah.
The end of the second book, I recorded myself because people are like, you have to record yourself.
Okay.
Jaw on the floor. I was shocked.
I was like, I record myself.
I was like, what are you talking about? And like, you know, there was so much, I don't know if you know this because you didn't read the last book yet. There was so much, apparently, negative press about the last book. It got tons of bad reviews, this, that, and the other thing. But I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, all these crazy theories and spirals. I'm like, this book just reaffirmed all of the crazy stuff that was in my brain. So I'm like, what are you... I almost wonder if people didn't... In my opinion, I don't think people liked the last book because it shows you different sides of your favorite Acotar character.
No, I know that Nesta is in it. That's why I've been clawing my way to get through it because I need more of Nesta back, and I know Bryce and Nesta connect. So I know that's why I'm saying I have this foresight. I can see it all falling together. I'm just like shove it in my brain. I thought
it was beautiful. Like I loved it. I love it. Might be my favorite Sarah J. Maas series from me. I love
really
urban fantasy.
Enjoying it.
And I thought the last book was great. Again, I think that people were expecting it to be an Acotar book, and it wasn't. You know,
no, it's not, and I knew that. Yeah. I knew there were cell phones. I knew it was an entirely different world. I took a nice little breather, read something in between, refreshed my palate, and prepared myself.
And you know, I noticed that the people who are so like Faye San obsessed, so like Rhys-Ann and Feyre, they're not the biggest fans of Crescent City, and I think that's because, you know, like because of the way that it portrays the inner circle.
Yes.
But those who do spiral and are really in the trenches with like digging through the books, I noticed they love Crescent City.
Interesting.
So I just think it also depends on the perspective of where you land in the fandom. I loved it. I love Crescent City. Like Hunt and Bryce. Bryce is one of my favorites. Like
beyond. Yeah. No, it's definitely Nesta and then her. But my thing when it comes to Rhys, I still want to say Rice, Rhys and Feyre, but I feel like I forever will say both of their names incorrectly, and at least she gave us the reprieve of like you can say whatever you want, like for the love of God, thank you.
I was calling him like Cole, you know, and people are like it's Kale. I'm like I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on here. These names are made up.
Yeah, they're all made up. You can say whatever you want to say. I don't care. Aaron. I love that name so much. I forgot what the point of what I was about to say. Rhys and Feyre. I think that because these characters kind of came first, and even in the sense of in the first Acotar book, you get Tamlin, and then all of a sudden your entire world flips upside down. You meet all of these characters out of nowhere, and these are your favorite characters in the world. In that sense, I don't think that it's necessarily that they are the main characters, the ones. I feel like a lot of the fandom really puts them on a pedestal, and as much as I love them, I think that a lot of people need to continue to separate our conscious and subconscious and remember that we connect to these stories because they are personal to us, because we see ourselves, because of all of that. You are connecting in a very personal way. You are taking everything people say personally, and you need to take a step back for a second and breathe some air. I love you. But in the same sense of, I think that they are almost meant to be these mirror characters. The characters that we've gotten after them are so multifaceted. They have pitfalls, all these different sides. And of course, Rhys is somebody else to discuss entirely. But Feyre particularly, I feel like is a good mirror character where they're like a nice character to be put up on a pedestal, so all of the other characters have something to reflect to, something to compare to, something that actually makes them look terrible, so then they can be shown in a different light.
I think my biggest problem with Feyre is, and I don't dislike Feyre, there's actually a part of me, I feel very bad for Feyre. I think that she was a 19-year-old kid who, she's a classic unreliable narrator too. And before everyone jumps up and down, it's not an insult to be an unreliable narrator. It's just a writing technique.
We don't consider unreliable narrators enough.
You know, we're getting everything from her perspective. And she doesn't know anything. She goes into Prythian upon a lie, and she's learning about things as the story's unfolding, and we're learning everything through her eyes.
We're meant to be innocent. We are meant to be that innocent person that doesn't know anything.
Even by Silver Flames, she doesn't know things. Like this is key. She doesn't know she's gonna die. She it's like constantly she doesn't know anything. And I think that when we take her perspective as gospel in these books, I'm like, she does not know anything. That's the point of her first person narration. She's unreliable. She's not omniscient.
That is the point of first person narration, point blank period over everything. It is to hide something from the audience, from the reader, 100%. From the viewer. Whatever you are hiding from this character is what you are hiding from the audience at that time.
And I don't care what anybody says, a little bit of a spiral. I need to know why Feyre and Rhysand are the only first-person POVs in the entire master. You have all these characters, all these different third-person omniscient perspectives, right? Like, we get Therian chapters in Crescent City, we get, Aelin, we have Chaol. Nobody's in first person except the Daematis, except the people who could mind control. I don't think that's an accident. I really think that that's a form of metafiction. I think that she's trying to Daemati us. No. That's what I think it is. But
no.
But, like, people are like, that's just crazy. I'm like, but then why is she writing it like this?
No, I think it actually, transcends, that far.
That's what I think it is,
I think it really is going to be something where we're all going to have to sit there for a few days and we're like, damn, you actually, fucked my brain sideways a little bit. Yeah. That was crazy.
I hope that she pulls the punch, too.
No, and again, I was kind of sad that she shut down the whole, and maybe it wasn't really shutting down that Rhysand could be a villain.
Do you think she shut that down? I don't, actually. No.
Okay, good.
And I can tell you why.
Okay, great.
So, I'll tell you why. So, she does say that she loves Rhys, but to be fair, so do I. So do a lot of people who
we love him. We're supposed to love him. Right. Yeah.
But this was the first time she compared Rhys to Tamlin. She said, right? You're acting like the ex.
Yes, at least she admitted that. Right? I was thankful for that.
Because that was a
big
problem.
So that means she did that intentionally.
I think so.
She did that intentionally.
She said Rhysand makes mistakes. This is the first time she says that the guy makes mistakes.
Rhys is entitled to go through his own shit and make his own mistakes.
Okay.
All right.
Can I bring us back to the conversation that everybody hated when we were like, hey, remember that we've never actually seen Tamlin's full shape-shifting? And I'm like, hey, guys, what if it's Tamlin and Rhysand? And they're like, how would they have had the baby? And I'm like, that's why we only have their first-person perspectives. Because somebody else, somebody else is almost I feel like what we're actually getting is not their perspectives. I feel like what we're getting is something else. I feel like because we're always talking about from the mother.
Yeah.
I feel like it's I don't know how to verbalize it other than a godlike perspective, but somebody puppeting. The mother puppets. I feel like we're getting the perspective of the mother, and she's closest to them because we have the Daemati thing and all that stuff. And that is why there's such an emphasis on Nesta being special, because she has a special connection with the mother. And then the cauldron is the other thing.
The cauldron confuses me.
Yeah, it's broken, it's its own character, it's pissed off.
If you notice in the interview, she kept talking about mates. But
there's true mates,
and then there's biological mates,
and then
but
what's the thing? Mates are the same as, and then she was like Skip.
Did they bring up the Karanom or whatever that is?
I don't know that they did.
I don't know if she did that.
Okay, never mind.
But no, you're good. But she did say, right, so we have these mates, and mates are controlled by the cauldron, right?
Yeah.
But the cauldron's been poisoned, right? You're not that far in Crescent City yet. The cauldron has been destroyed. It's
I feel like I knew that though.
Yeah, right. That's kind of something that's.
I feel like I knew that. I mean, I definitely fell asleep for 6 hours while listening to the audiobook, so I feel like some things have downloaded subconsciously.
Right. So the cauldron's poisoned.
Yes.
The cauldron determines mates. So.
And that's why Elaine and Lucien.
Or any of them. So Feyre and Rhysand, their mate bond was created by a corrupt entity. Cassian and Nesta, you know what I mean?
And that's why so many people, and I actually, as much as I love Nesta and Cassian, I do love that twist.
Well,
I would love that rug to be pulled out from under me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would really love to find out that Feyre and Rhysand were not exactly mates.
I would like that more than anybody.
Okay, so did you finish Throne of Glass?
Yeah.
So you know how Aelin and Rowan are mates?
Yes.
And Rowan bites Aelin?
Yes.
Tamlin bites Feyre, and those two books were published next to each other. That's the kind of stuff that I don't really understand if we're not supposed to pick up on. So I'm not necessarily saying that Tamlin and Feyre were mates, but
that's my point, that they switched before the magic happened.
Everything gets
That's my point, is that the real Rhysand was in Tamlin, and the real, like, that she's been with the wrong person the whole time. That basically she was with the right person, but we assumed it was the wrong person, and now she was the wrong person, and we assume it's the right person, and now their bodies are going to switch back, and she'll be with the right person. Like, I don't fully understand what I'm saying myself.
No, but I get what
But I think they've been switched because they had the magic on them before the mask. They were all stuck behind the mask. What if the mask is farther than the physical mask on your face? Because Tamlin didn't have a mask on his face, did he? Am I remembering that wrong? Did he have a mask on his face?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm wrong. But, like, maybe it was more than just that mask.
Everyone's wearing masks.
Everybody was wearing masks at that party. Why would...
Oh, I know what you're saying now. Oh, yeah. That's actually really...
But, like, it was at that party that they were switched. That for some reason they were switched. That something else was going... Something was happening before Hybern, or the Queen...
Amarantha, yeah.
Watching season 4 of Bridgerton... Those two names have been so screwed up in my head. Amarantha, whatever, that woman. The Red Queen. That's what I remember. She wore a lot of red. But Hybern's queen in book 1, before she did all of that, there was something going on between the two of them. So there's something that was predating the first book. Something that was going on between Hybern, her, and whatever this larger thing is before that. And then Hybern tried to take over everything and do all of that stuff, and they got stuck. I think that really Tamlin and Rhysand were actually more on each other's side and have to play haters.
Wow, so you're like... Oh, that's like tinfoil hat stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
But there's like... I think that there's so much more to the fact of like... Rhysand's wings, their parents, all of that stuff, that they came High Lords the same night, like all of that.
I think that they have a history. I think that Tamlin...
What if they're each other's mates?
What
if it's a heated rivalry situation?
Oh, I think that's... You know, in traditional Fae lore, it is very common to have all kinds of relationships. So the fact that we actually don't see that in Prythian and like Mor hides her sexuality is very strange. That's not the way that real Fae lore goes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that. Oh, I think they kissed twice.
Yeah.
Why do they kiss the same?
They snuggled.
They did something. Yes, they did.
They snuggled.
I think so. And, you know, like, they used to train at the camps together and all this kind of stuff. There's more to that history.
Yes.
And when Sarah said in the interview, like, I don't know if I'm going to revisit Tamlin's story.
Yes.
Well, you got to give me some information on what their relationship was like.
Yes.
Like, you know, I genuinely believe that Rhysand and Tamlin had some... Like, you kill my family, I'll kill your family, we ascend together. Because Tamlin's brothers were very abusive. He was worried they were going to kill him or something.
They didn't really like their own parents.
No.
I think that they orchestrated their own parents to find all the different... Yeah, mm-hmm. I agree.
That's actually what I think happened, and I think that it Actually, I don't even understand why Rhysand would be mad at Tamlin at that point.
Maybe like the cauldron's or maybe like the cauldron was poisoned, and like Rhysand's sister, like maybe was there a sister? Somebody had a sister.
His sister, yeah.
And like somebody's sister was like the wrong mate, and they were each other's correct mate. Like we've definitely taken this theory way too far at this point, but like. I love it.
Get some paper. Write our book.
I love it. I love
this.
That's how fan fiction. Yeah.
And I also do you think that there's going to be a big twist based on that interview?
I am definitely feeling like, considering that these two books come out so close together and it's technically 3 parts, I'm like, okay, so tandem read, final perspective, you're doing another Throne of Glass setup. And I love it, but who's going to be the dual perspective? Considering we've only gotten perspectives from
Do you think this is the finale?
Do you think she's going to finish at 8?
I don't know. And the reason I'm skeptical is because I don't know.
If it kept going.
I think it might have to. I don't know how she's going to wrap it up in 3 books. Or 4, whatever, because people keep saying...
She still has to connect them all.
Yes. And she said, if I ever revisit Tamlin again... So I know she's still thinking about writing in this universe, right?
I feel like these 3 books might wrap up Acotar, and there might be a different series that actually ties them all together. I don't know that they necessarily actually tie together within one of these single series themselves. There might be a different series where these all kind of have pieces that lead, and then there's one series that you cannot touch until you've read all of them.
Okay.
Maybe, because I agree that she cannot wrap that in 3 books.
No, I don't think she can. There's too much, and we don't even know anything about Elaine. And Nesta's story's still going. I'm sorry, Nesta is
There's too much there.
By the time you get to the 3rd Crescent City book, you're going to be like, okay, wait a minute, we got to revisit Nesta. You're not going to believe what you read.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I know I'm going to die. I'm like actually going to die. And like even with Elaine, there's so much more to her besides just who's her mate going to be.
Yeah, no, I think there's more to Elaine.
There's a lot. She's an odd. We've gotten like nothing on her. She's an odd character, and then also tying in the fact of like we're bringing up their mom again, and that their mom is like definitely a witch, and. There was something.
Answer questions about
she wouldn't answer questions. I saw something about like word marks on the house, iron something on the bed, like.
So.
Weren't Nesta's eyes silver?
Mm-hmm.
So they're an iron blood witch.
Oh,
where are you going with this?
I never considered that. That's really interesting, actually. Here's a theory. Someone messaged me. They don't do content, and they were like, I'm just going to put this out there.
These are my favorite people, yeah.
Right, they just was like, listen.
You're my favorite person.
I don't even have content. They're like a faceless profile, and they're like, I'm just sending you this information.
And it's user 9745. Yeah, you're my favorite.
What if, and I've never considered this, what if Jessica from Crescent City is their mother? Now, it's like really out there, but I'll tell you what.
Has to connect somewhere.
They sent me a whole bunch of information. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but she was an art collector. Jessica, right? She runs the art gallery, whatever. And we know that Papa Archeron was a merchant, and they used to collect things. And, like, I don't know. It kind of made sense the way this person was, like, laying it out. Like, there's stuff about Jessica that has not been, like, there's something to her. And they thought that there was a connection to the Archeron sisters.
I like that.
I'd be interested.
That a lot. That would be very interesting.
Yeah,
that would be very interesting.
I just think that there's going to be more connections.
Yeah. No, and I still can't get over the whole, like, Nesta fell and there were sparks and there were marks on the stone, on the staircase.
Claws,
the
claws. Like the witches.
Claws.
Yeah.
There's so much more to at least those 3 girls. So, I mean, to have Prophet Witch, I feel like there has to be... What if, like, Elaine is, like, the main perspective and she's been telling the story the whole time as this prophet? I don't know. Like, what if she gets to have, like...
She's a seer.
As a seer, like, what if she gets to have this, like, really big role as somebody who's been a very small, undermined, meek little character this whole time? Like, you're so unassuming.
Yeah.
She's so unassuming. I would really like if she turned out to be, like, evil or something.
I think that's a possibility.
I think it'd be so fun.
Because she's like, well, okay, she's like meek, right?
Yeah.
She's unassuming. Remember, her mate's the fox.
Yeah.
He's sneaky. Like, I think that's something that a lot of people overlook, and this is actually something Rhysand says.
I think it's telling who your mate is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rhysand says to Fairy, there's a reason he was wearing that fox mask.
Yeah.
Like, what's the reason? Like,
what's the reason of you even pointing that out, too?
He's sly. You know what I mean? I think that's, and even in the first book, Lucian he's kind of, like,
I love him, but yeah.
I love him, but he's not, like, this completely morally good guy. He's like a trickster in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like,
and even to bring it to that side of the book, that whole little group that they've got going on over there, and we still have to deal with the lake god.
Oh yeah, that whole Koshte. Yeah.
Yeah, we still have to deal with him. Bryaxis, Fear herself. Where has she gone? That's still out there. That I was obsessed with.
Did you think that Bryaxis was a girl?
She said she.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yes.
Before the interview.
No. I thought it was, like, genderless. I didn't put gender. I didn't, like, it was, like, an entity above worldly
I thought it was like a god. Like, gods are transcendent. They don't
I was like,
gender.
it's a...
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's a she. Okay. Like, I wasn't...
So then that's where people start tying that into other stuff where, what's that girl whose name starts with a K?
Kaltine.
Kaltine. We're gonna...
So Kaltine. Everybody was thinking
talking
Bryaxis
about
is Kaltine.
how she was often shadows and wisps. I really enjoyed her character and what she's added to the stories. I don't think that she might come back. I really tie her more to, like, maybe the surreal or something like that.
But cloak.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me, but Yeah, Bryaxis is interesting. That was, and then the Bone Carver. Did you see people talking about the Bone Carver actually being the god of truth?
No, I have not seen that.
So I saw somebody else making a post how basically there was like, I don't remember, I think it might have been like, maybe it wasn't Crescent City, maybe it was like Throne of Glass. That was like somebody was talking about like the god of truth or something, and then Rhysand is like, you always have to tell him the truth, you cannot lie to him. And it was something about the god of truth having like bones scattered around him.
Oh, okay. Wait, that might have been Crescent City. I hate to be honest,
yeah,
they all like blend together after a while.
That's my thing, is I can't really fully, like, aside from the fact that it's a saving grace that Crescent City is such a distinctly different world, I can't tell the difference.
Well, just wait, because you're going to be like, are they different?
No.
It's interesting. And I've talked about this online before. I don't think that it's necessarily right to describe these as being 3 distinct series.
No, they're not.
They all go to, it's a big universe. You know what I mean? So you could just read one of them, but like one of my best friends has only read Acotar, and she has a lot of opinions. And I'm like, you have to read the other books if you're gonna have these opinions. Yeah.
And like, I love the other ones more than Acotar, and I love Acotar. I love that story so much. And again, I'm just so excited to get back to Nesta's POV and to find out more about Elaine, but also Manon and the witches. I think she honestly might be rivaling Nesta for like my favorite character.
Really?
I fell in love with Manon and just what she's done, and the 13 and everybody.
No, they were fun. I really liked Astrid.
Yeah.
The
cabin.
And just the like motherhood, grief, trauma. I was so glad that she was the one who got to kill the mother witch, the grandmother.
Oh, it was beautiful.
I was very happy. I'm like, that's justice.
So it was such a good scene to listen to.
No, it was great. Yeah. It's sad, and like I cried reading that. But it was good.
Yeah.
You know.
Very much so. Who else is there?
I'm trying to think about,
what other theories do we have?
I have the spirals, they go on forever. I still think Rhys's Valg, and she wouldn't answer that question.
Yes.
Who's related to Maeve, and she was like, pass.
Oh, yeah. Maeve, Moore. That's the whole other group. We don't know a lot about Moore. We don't know the guy that starts with a J, used to be in the Eyeball, Jurian.
Jurian.
Yeah, I know how to write that right. Then the the Firebird girl, like that whole group, like all of them have so much more to delve into. And so even with the Maeve from Throne of Glass, I've seen some stuff talk about like Moore's like role in all of this. Like what are her powers really? What role has she actually played? Why is she Rhys's second-hand person? Where have they come from together?
Yeah, and the fact that she comes from the Hewn City.
Yes.
And that was originally the line that was the High Lord and all that.
Exactly.
There's a part of me that wonders if Moore's going to be a betrayer.
I think so.
And if Rhysand's corrupt, is she bad?
And I don't think that Azriel is actually as in love with her as she thinks he is.
I think he's watching her.
I think he's watching her. I think he knows something, he sees something that she's doing, and she, because the narrator is unreliable, presenting it to everybody else that he is still in love with her, so no one else gets suspicious.
Yeah.
But that is why he watches her. I do not think he is in love with her in any means whatsoever. And I will also say, while we're talking about it, I do think that the whole like Cassian Moore relationship is a bit odd, but to me it's kind of just one of those things that like, it is what it is. It's their relationship. She nurtures it because it's her cover. She needs a cover.
I actually think that that's one of the saddest things, and I get very frustrated at their relationship because
Cassian's gonna get heartbroken.
I think Cassian's gonna die.
I think he's gonna die.
Like, there's so much foreshadowing to suggest that he's not gonna make it. He's the only character who says Fae are nearly immortal. He recognizes that they could die. He also has all these allergies. He is mated to death.
That's exactly where I was going to go. What do you mean mated to death herself? What is she going to do? I think that's why I think it transcends to something higher.
Yeah, and that is why to be death. I mean, that's a transcendent thing.
That Nesta is going to transcend to being something that is the mother, the cauldron, this mythical thing that is talked about in legend, as a way of still getting to be with Cassian in his death.
Oh, I love that, actually.
Right?
I love that. Okay.
Isn't that sweet?
You know, here's the thing, too, with Cassian. People, they always ask, like, Cassian or Rhys. I actually prefer Cassian, even
every
though
time.
It drives me crazy. Like, why couldn't he just tell her he loves her?
Yeah.
Come on. Can't you just say it? I think that he's under some sort of spell or something from Rhysand. That's why he's covered in those tattoos.
Yeah.
And he keeps choosing Rhysand.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's going to have to decide if he's going to choose Rhysand or his mate. And I think that's where there's going to be the break. Now, let me ask you your opinion about this. Because she, in the interview, she shut down a lot of the theories.
I think he does have some sort of control over all of them with those tattoos.
Yes. So, do you remember when we were learning about that whole scene where Amren proposed that Rhysand become High King?
Yes.
And
Amren, I love that conversation. Yes.
I think she's a demon. I think she's Valg.
Oh,
or a Ciri, something like that, right?
She's somewhere, yeah.
And they talked about how there used to be a High King, but he was betrayed by his queen and his general.
Yes, and that is why he would not want them to...
Tell me that's not foreshadowing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that Cassian's going to turn against Rhys, because he's going to have to.
He's going to have to.
Crescent City, Nesta and Rhysand are still not getting along.
No.
Despite the end of Silver Flame, that's all bullshit.
I think there's a big reason that Nesta and Rhysand do not get along.
I think they butt heads for a reason. It's like cosmic. I don't think they can get along.
Yeah, no. That's what I mean by it's going to transcend. He is Valg. She is from another world. She is, because of her mother's witch heritage, because I still stand on that, I think that Nesta is from another world. I think that her powers far exceed Fair is at least. She has been presented as this, she has the power of all the High Lords. We are going to get Nesta as a hitter, but then Elaine, I think is going to be something else that's going to, like, squash this. But, like, the two of them are going to take the fight to another level that no one else can follow them to.
Well, remember, like, the whole three-faced goddess thing.
Yep.
You know, Elaine, whenever I think about Elaine, you know that scene from, I think it's True Detective, where Woody Harrelson's like, I just want you to stop saying weird shit.
Yes!
Every time Elaine starts saying something, I'm like, oh, here we go again, just talking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, but I think it all means something.
Yes.
Like, it all has to mean something. I don't know what. I think she's nuts, but it means something,
it's
you know?
Something.
But, yeah, every time she's on the scene, I'm like, oh, here we go again. She's going to a different place.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't wait for you to finish Crescent City. Because you're going to be like, OMG, what is happening?
Wait.
Yeah.
No. It shouldn't take me too terribly long, but then I look at the size of those books again and I fear for myself. But thank God for Audible.
Yeah. Well, they're easy to get through.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're obsessed with the story and you keep going and you want to keep going. So
yes. Yeah.
It's good.
No. That's why I have these coloring books, which is literally what I brought to give you. I love coloring in these coloring books while I listen to the audiobooks. It's a nice way for me to just, like, turn my brain off.
Well, it's like an immersive experience. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Gosh, I have the Acotar one, and so I know you love Throne of Glass, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. No. These are fun.
The art is so beautiful in these two. Oh my gosh.
And it's nice to also just, like, get a look at the story behind it. I love and the AI art that's online. I mean, there's the AI art, but then there's the actual artist. There's a lot of really gorgeous art behind all of this.
The artists who make these materials is just fantastic. Thank you again.
Yeah, of course.
The art, and, like, whenever I see artists who are, like, hand drawing things, and I'm like,
unbelievable.
How do you have this much talent? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's wild to me. Or, like, even the cosplayers.
What it actually takes to put that kind of detail into something, to have the forethought of it all.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I commend everybody who does, like, that kind of art, you know? And, you know, again, going to the cosplaying thing, I saw this amazing cosplayer who was Amarantha, who's, like, evil, right?
Yeah.
But, I was like, you know what?
I would
Maybe she wasn't all that bad.
Maybe I too would follow her.
Yeah, like, I get why you all went under the mountain. Like,
you know what? Yeah. Women's wrongs. Mm-hmm. I support women's wrongs.
It's fine. Her sister was crucified. Honestly, that's not something I think people talk about nearly enough. She was horrible. Don't get me wrong. If someone did to my sister what happened to Amarantha's sister, I would make that look like child's play. Like,
yes.
You know,
Wanda Maximoff, this is me being reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, that was and that's my point. Ties back to her sister, ties back to before, ties back to all of this. Something was happening that predates and was something that was happening and why they all got put under that spell.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, we got like why they got put under the spell, but why did they really get put under that spell?
That's like, I was just having a conversation with someone last night, and they were like, I was in the grocery store and I saw a couple arguing over how they were putting things in the cart. But that's not actually what they were arguing about, but they couldn't have the real argument.
Yeah.
So it's like, Amarantha put them all under that spell for, because she wanted Tamlin. But it wasn't that, right? Like, it was something different. It was something bigger, something more cosmic, more grand.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, there's something bigger happening there. There's a huge point to the Valk.
Yeah.
The Valk were a whole thing. And the fact that so much of Throne of Glass, which is our biggest series thus far, really takes things to another dimension, another world. And the way we saw Aelin transcend, I love using that word, transcend, but like go between the dimensions and fly past Rhys, like something else. Like he is aware, like he knows. He knows.
It's like, You know what's crazy is that Aelin fell through worlds during Starfall because they were out. Do you think the stars are actually stars, or do you think they're souls?
No, I think souls. I think that makes sense. Too. Well, it's like it's giving Lion King.
Oh, okay.
But like when you think about the stars as souls, it's giving Lion King.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're looking at the stars. You're looking at all these people in the world, and think about how Aelin, took out all the gods. What's happening there?
And then she declares herself a god.
She declares herself a god.
How does that work? Can you imagine?
And that's like, the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
We are living in a world without gods.
I have a lot to say about the theology. I don't think we've met God yet.
No. And that's where I'm saying that other perspective.
I think that that's one of the reasons, right? Yeah. And, in Crescent City, did you get to the Book of Breathings no, that was Acotar. But there's all these books in... Yeah. I think the Book of Breathings is actually the Bible. I know that sounds crazy.
I like it, yeah.
But, breathing life into Adam and the whole...
makes sense.
Yeah, the tradition of Yahweh and the breath work and all that kind of stuff. And it's in 2 parts, the Old and the New Testament. And, Amren is a fallen angel. And she fits the mold to be an Old Testament angel.
Yeah.
So I'm like... And she talks about her father, the Father.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like... This is all, and Sarah J. Maas has a degree in religious studies. I'm like, she would know about this, right? Like, she would know that this is the kind of stuff to put in here. But, Aelin declaring herself as a god and killing the gods. And there's a lot to say about the gods. And, the cauldron is related to the mother who's a god, but we don't understand how that's operating. It's like, it's a big part. And
so much of synonyms being used
in
these
that
books.
Other series that she was writing, Twilight of the Gods, it was supposed to be about the gods. I don't know if she's still doing that or what, but...
Yeah, that's why I think that there's a 4th series that will actually tie it together, and this just finishes out all the perspectives that we need from Acotar. Because there's no freaking way. There's no freaking way you get through it in 3 books. No. I don't care how big those books are.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Are you disappointed she's not going to have a Tamlin POV? Or she's on the fence about it?
I love villain. I love justification. I love that kind of perspective. Yeah. I can live without it. Okay. I think I would eat it up. I think I would really enjoy it just because I find somebody that is, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I feel like it starts with like not niche, but I don't know. I'll think of it in a second. Somebody that multifaceted, somebody that has so much growth to be made, so much change that can happen. That is prime real estate for examplism, to make a wonderful example out of him and be like, hey, you can be this, but you can also be this, and this is where you can go, and you don't always have to be that way, and this is that, and all this stuff. Kale. Yeah.
Had so much growth in Tower Dawn.
Yeah.
I am disappointed if we don't get a Tamlin POV. Because he was such a big part of the story.
It started with him.
And, that was her first love. And I still think that there's a lot to be said about whether or not Rhysand is right. Right? And Tamlin's the one who keeps saying, there's something wrong with this guy. And, the fact that we're not going to get that perspective is wild to me. And...
I don't know that we really won't, though,
I hope that we...
That's my
true.
thing is, I can't really... That's why I'm, not really processing it, because I don't really see a world where we don't.
That's a really good point, too. How don't we?
I don't see a world where we don't.
And by the end of Silver Flames, he's still, even, I think Rhysand admits, maybe it's Frost and Starlight where he said, we're going to have to do something about the Spring Court because that's on the southern border. Like, we know that the Spring Court is still going to matter. So Tamlin still has to matter. And I still want their backstory.
I think there might be something to Elaine wanting to marry the human. Why that? You're a seer and he sucks and you didn't see that. I think that there's a reason. I think that there's a reason. We have written her off entirely as some love-struck sadness. What was she mourning? Like, that was full-blown, like, Twilight, Edward has left me, I'm gonna sit in this chair and rot. Full-blown, all of that.
Well, okay, that's really interesting that you're bringing that up.
Because he's on the edge of the Spring Court, and that's the human land, and the human land still ties into all of this because the human land is still important in the other books. Which is a big theme as human importance in Crescent City with Bryce.
Yes. That is really interesting.
We haven't gotten a human perspective. Humans have not become a player in this war. Well, they're just pawns that are getting tossed around.
And I'll tell you what, I think that this might come back. Because Jurian's still kicking around. We know the human queens are around. And, there's always this theme in, like, horror or fantasy sci-fi, right? Like, humans are always the monsters.
Yes.
It's always humans. And despite humans not being as powerful as the Fae, what is it? Like, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
Like, do not underestimate humans. They're awful. Like,
well, do we know who poisoned the cauldron, or is it just poisoned?
We do find out who corrupted the cauldron.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I do.
The Asteri.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, wait. I feel like I know that already.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just I have all of this foresight. Right. I don't know. I feel like it just makes sense.
Are you a seer?
I think... No, I swear to God, I get, like, premonitions where I'm like... Thoughts are downloading. Here's the theory. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it feels. That's really how it feels a lot of the time.
Yeah. But, that's... What were we talking about?
We were talking about the humans being the villains.
Humans are bad.
Yeah.
Humans are really bad. You know, like...
And who poisoned the cauldron and Jurian still being in all of this, which is where I think that does tie in. Because he's...
Well, remember, he saw everything under the mountain. I love his perspective.
Everything under the mountain. Yeah, I'd really like his perspective, too. I feel like him and Tamlin, like, might somehow tie. Because, like, she wanted Tamlin. Why? Like, I don't know.
Well, Tamlin was the most beautiful. Right? That's why she put a mask on him. She was like, no one could see your face. Someone has to fall in love with you despite not seeing you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being so beautiful? Like, listen, you gotta cover that up. you're just a walking hazard.
I'm just thinking about the whole, like, triangle between, like, her, Tamlin, and Rhys. That's just, there's something.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, I think that the humans play a big role, and I stand on the fact that there's a reason that Elaine wanted to marry him.
Do you think she was pregnant? I know that's a theory that kicks around a little bit.
No, I don't think she was pregnant. I feel like she, like, was like, I need to be over here. Like, I need to be on, like, the enemy lines on the inside, or maybe I'm protected over here, something or another. Like, she needed to be there.
Yeah.
Not for him. I think it was less for him, because I think when push came to shove, she could stand up with her back straight and do what she needed to do. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people really overlook the fact that, Nesta's technically the one that was, like, holding Hybern's head, but, like, Elaine was the one who stabbed him.
Elaine stabbed Hybern. Yeah, and people always forget about that. And I'm like, no, she was the one.
It was both of them. Like, she stabbed him. She snuck up. That's my point. She sneaks up on you because you're not paying attention to her. You've written her off. You're not paying attention to her. Even now, the fandom kind of forgets that she's the one that did all of that. And Azriel trusts her. Gave her that blade. So maybe that's why she won't turn out to be evil, or maybe they're both evil, but who knows? I don't think that, but he trusts her. There's something to her, and I think that there's a reason that she wanted to be over there, because I think it still ties in with them, and that's why I think that we will get a Tamlin perspective, because I don't see how we don't.
That's my thing too. That's such a good point. I don't know how we don't. He's too important
to everyone. To everyone.
And he's the one who saved Rhysand's life.
Yeah.
And, like, people keep saying he needs redemption. I'm like, You don't think this was redemption? He saves Feyre and Elaine.
Yeah.
And he tells Feyre to be happy. He's the one who brings Rhysand back to life. I think he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs a baddie.
Well, the whole, Rhys going over there and taking care of him, I don't think he's taking care of him.
Nope.
I think he's making him worse.
I do too.
Keeping him like that to make Springcourt susceptible so they can get down there and do something with the humans.
I think that Rhysand is incredibly toxic. And that was really the final nail. Well, I didn't even read Silver Flames yet, but by the time I was reading Frost and Starlight, when Rhysand... Tamlin was suicidal, make no mistake. That's what was happening. Yeah. Rhysand goes in there and he's like, maybe you should just kill yourself, is what he basically says. I was like, you know what? He just brought you back to life. You're actually a horrible individual. And you know what? Maybe hot take. I don't think that Tamlin was nearly as abusive as the fandom likes to pretend he was. I don't think he is. He's not right.
Horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible, but it's not, and yes, there's a scale of things, and yes, in comparison to Rhys, because that was the perspective she pushed. Yeah. That's my thing is, a lot of people are like so willing to take what's fed because that's the perspective she pushed. She wanted you to feel that. She wanted you to fall in love with Tamlin. She wanted you to feel the pain that she did and then switch over to Rhys.
Yeah.
And then we just took it personal. And it's good that you took it personal. It's good that you left that man. I'm glad that you all did that. But
anything that makes you leave that guy. I don't care if it's watching an episode of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Good. That's whatever made you safe. But, you know, Tamlin having panic attacks and imploding a room, that's not willing, right? Like, that's against his will.
Yeah.
And then you have Rhysand, on the other hand, who lies to you about being your mate, who makes you... He roofied her for 3 months under the mountain. People forget that happened, and the paint corrects itself when he touches it.
Yeah,
people don't want to talk about that. I'm like, no, that's what happens.
Super weird.
And
I'm just playing a role.
And he's hiding the pregnancy stuff that's going to kill her.
The pregnancy stuff and the comparison to Tamlin really sticks with me still.
Me too. I just like, if we're gonna throw the book at Tamlin, fine. He was a problem. I don't think they should have been together. I don't know how we're not also throwing the book at Rhysand, who I think did things that were 10 times worse. Like,
considering, I'm still shocked that anybody stopped him from getting his hands on Nesta. And that is why I, again, think it's going to end up in a final battle between the two of them. We are building up a battle between the two of them.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah.
I'm like kicking my feet. I can't wait for you to finish Crescent City because you're going to be like, square up, Rhysand. You're going to be ready.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, I think that he's there for some comparison. And I mean, he's going over there. No one else sees what he's doing over there with Tamlin. No one knows what's happening. They just know that bad things are happening over there and he needs help. I do not trust somebody's perspective just because they're feeding it to me.
No,
so I don't think he's helping him. I think he's intentionally weakening him for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And he is playing some sort of game. Maybe he doesn't want to be like the High Lord of High Lords, but like, because he knows that there's something bigger than that. There's no point in being the High Lord of High Lords.
I think that Tamlin is more powerful than people think he is.
Yes. That's why he needs him weak, because he might be one of the few that could contend him, and that's why he does not know what to do with Nesta, because he knows Nesta could do it. But now I'm very interested to see what happens with her powers.
Yeah.
Very interested.
Because, like, you know, and again, you didn't finish Crescent City yet, but she loses her powers at the end of Silver Flame. But she still has powers at the end of Crescent City, so I don't really understand. And
that's where it's like, it's a natural thing. Yeah. It was always there. What did she really take?
Yeah, I don't know.
So then if she still has powers, do we need to be asking, what did she really take? And what does death herself mean in reference to fear herself?
Yeah, death and fear, like, they're pretty connected.
Yeah, I think it's all very connected, and I think that's why Nesta is kind of something that was born into this world that was always meant to become something bigger. I feel like she's really revving up to be like, okay, the cauldron's poison, we're probably going to have to take that out. Nobody even knows what the frick the mother is. Like, we don't know what's going on here. Aelin's killed off all the gods. She's the god now. Rhys is Valg. The Valg are going to be coming back in. Something from other worlds are coming back in, because if there's no gods in the other dimensions, what's happening out there?
Yeah.
Something else.
It's a lawless society,
it's
right?
It's a lawless society on the other side of this fabric of time and reality. That's going to spill over. and it's going to become your problem again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you think that we're eventually going to get, like, an ultimate female showdown, or, like, at least a meetup between, like, Aelin, Bryce, Feyre, and maybe Nesta?
I think that would be crazy. I think it would be really crazy.
I actually
think
hope
it's too much to put on one page.
Me too.
And it feels too servicey rather than natural.
Yep.
To me, it feels like that in-game scene where, like, all the women came together, and I'm like...
It's cheesy.
Get out of my face right now.
I think it would be a little too... like millennial girl bossy. Do you know what I mean? like okay, we're all together.
We knew you were gonna do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get that. I think it's definitely gonna give some level of like, I mean, again, like a lot of these things are women. It's the mother. It's all of this stuff. So I think it is going to tie back up to like there is some sort of like matriarchy to like patriarchy is going to be some sort of really background theme that can be tied out of this based on the power dynamic shift.
If the Archeron sisters, if their mom was actually a witch, we know that the witches were matriarchal.
Yes.
But Prythian's in a patriarchy. So
and that's okay. Mm-hmm. That's the direction we need to go into for what was happening before we got into Acotar. What was happening in the war? We learned a lot about the war with the witches, and that is why I think it's so important that these Archeron sisters are witches.
Yeah.
That makes Yeah. So we're gonna need to have like a shared whiteboard with shared
string theory. Yeah.
Yeah. No. This will be far from the last time we actually sit down and have one of these conversations. We're going to have to continue to, like, keep these up here and there.
Well, no, the book comes out in October, so, like, clear your schedule. We're going to have to chat.
I'm going to have to finish those two. And
like,
still, I want to reread everything.
Are you going to do a reread?
I really want to, but I really don't know how I'm going to manage a Marvel rewatch and an entire Massverse reread in the same year and still watch everything else.
Maybe don't sleep.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
An option.
I agree. There's got to be something that you can take for that. Something.
Yeah, something
for that.
Talk to your doctor about that.
horrible things. No, anything for these books. I mean, this has been a wonderful conversation. Is there anything left that has not been uncovered?
I don't know.
Yeah. No. We can always loop back to how that entire Call Her Daddy episode was definitely, maybe, probably staged.
What do you think about that?
The questions were good questions. I mean, we knew what the audience wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of journalistic freedom to ask somebody whatever you want to ask, I mean, I don't know about that. So I think that she got to really, I mean, everybody was looking at her rings, her clothing, her outfits, even the promos for it. It looks like there was a lot to be said, not just from, I mean, you plan for things like that. Alex Cooper, you planned for that. You were not just jumping right in out of excitement, as excited as you were with the rest of us. You planned. You knew what questions you were asking. You guys are in cohorts. Something.
I think that it is irresponsible to think, and dishonest, honestly, to think that Sarah J. Maas's managers would have not wanted to approve of those questions first.
Yeah.
So I think that she knew those questions were going to be asked, and everybody knew she was going to say no comment.
Yeah.
Because saying nothing is saying a lot.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
The fact that she won't answer if anyone's related to Maeve, I'm like, oh, so they're all related to Maeve. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. He's valid. I knew. Like,
we got it. We're good.
You know. So I think that there was a lot that was said without saying it.
Yes.
And I think that is a main takeaway.
Yeah.
I also think, what was it? I'm just going to say something. I can cut all that out.
Yeah, no, I can always get edited out. I'll let you think for a second. I mean, it's just the way all of it was set up was so entertaining to watch. It was what we all needed to get us excited for the series. Not that anything is ever needed to get us excited. You say jump and we'll jump. So we're there for you.
Yeah. Something about something she said. Oh. So, I do think she's also a liar. A little bit about something else. And at the beginning, we just had that whole conversation about, I'm so glad she brought up how we have to start taking women's literature more legitimately. Like, seeing it through these legitimate eyes and all of that. I think that is so important. And then she closes out the interview with saying, "You guys are reading too close." Now, here's my thing.
Yeah.
I think that maybe she didn't realize that we were going to read this close.
Yeah.
And, the interviewee, right, so Alex Cooper, immediately after the episode's finished and Sarah J. Maas says, "Stop reading so close," posts pictures of the things that Sarah J. Maas was wearing. What do you think the sweater means? What do you think the rings mean?
Yeah.
You guys are all in on it!
Close.
We're reading too close. You're telling us to read close. And I also think...
where her hand position was.
Yeah.
I will say the rings, I saw Mom, I feel like those rings specifically at least were like her kids' birthstones. Like,
I know that's...
And even like, what do these necklaces mean? Okay, those are just symbols that people wear on a regular day-to-day basis. Like the hand, like all of those are just things that people wear on a regular day-to-day basis. But like the pink heart and the all blue outfit, I mean, she looked good. She just looked professional. And maybe that's all it was. Whose perspective is blue?
Asriel.
Okay.
No, but and like that was, I didn't realize that. So like she posted the pink and the blue heart, and people...
There are pink and blue hearts on everything, and I will give people that.
But like
But is pink Elaine?
I think that's what they're suggesting, and they're saying that like blue is Asriel,
No,
but
I feel like pink is more. That's where this is where I say I am Elaine in my intuition, like my I'm like, my brain is saying more.
You see, and when I saw blue, I had to be honest, I associate Amryn with blue.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't know why. I just do. I think in one scene she's wearing a blue jumpsuit or something like that. I don't know why that sticks in my head.
Yeah.
So like,
and maybe it's because Moore's always in those bright colors because she wants to stand out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm so impressed by the internet sleuths because they're just fun. They are. And that's another thing. Even if these spirals amount to nothing,
we had fun.
I think that the community building is important, not just for fandom culture, right? Like, it's important to have that, but also it's women enjoying literature for the sake of enjoyment. And that's great, just have fun with it,
For the frivolity of it all. Yeah. The world has so much going on, and it's hard, even in our day-to-day lives, not to even take it into the real world, just as individuals in our day-to-day lives. If we don't find ways to find joy, find pleasure, we will not be able to keep going to do the things that we need to do to make a difference in this world, or just be there for the people we care about.
Yeah, no, 100%. And any place that we could find those little moments of joy, even if it's just spiraling about fictional fairies and wingspans, I think that you should snatch it and enjoy that, you know?
I agree. And that's why I like this fandom really more than most, is that we do get to have that fun of, there is one story, there's one canon, there's one truth. The author gets to determine that, no one else. This is not our story. She is giving us this story for us to take on for ourselves, but we get to enjoy it. And until she writes that next book, until we get that next book and her word becomes the truth, we get to have as much fun as we want. A fandom is every single day, and it's really fun to get to enjoy that.
And it's never ending, right? So like, when she publishes it, it's now ours to interpret. So we get to have a crack at it too.
Whole new
so it's a whole community.
Playground.
Yep. Yeah. And I love that. Like the playground. You know what I mean? Like we're having fun on the playground right now.
Yes.
I love thinking about I love thinking about it like that. And there's, I don't know about you, I genuinely feel like I get a dopamine hit every time I go online and someone's like, I have a new theory. I'm like, let's check it out. Like, let's do it. Let's dive right in. Like, there's something to it. And honestly, just I've had so much fun in the community, and I've made good friends in the community.
And
you know what I mean?
That you meet, it makes a difference.
It really does. So I've been having fun, and I hope we continue to have fun.
Yeah, no, and a fandom is just a way to open up a conversation to bigger things. It allows us to process things in our personal lives, things in society, what we learn from these books. We can reflect it into the world around us, into our own relationships, like so many people have with the relationship specifically, but there's a lot of other themes throughout these books that apply to the climate and the world that we see today, and it's great.
And the conversations are just as important as the reading, because like these conversations are what inform society, right? And I think that that's something too that a lot of people overlook. So even if she tells us to stop reading stuff, I'm not stopping. Not me. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm ignoring the interview. And I loved it. Like I had fun with it, but I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I have another spiral.
We're gonna keep doing this.
No,
that's the fun of it all. We're gonna have to do these far more often, and of course, as soon as these books come out, we'll sit down and chat about it.
I think that's why they're coming out so closely.
That's because why I think that they're a tandem.
Yep.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah. No, you're supposed to get that one perspective. And I really liked having both of the books and getting to switch chapters back and forth. I don't think I would have made it through Tower of Dawn if I did not get to go back and forth.
Oh my gosh, I actually loved Tower of Dawn. It was very sad to me. I loved Irene. Irene's one of my favorite characters.
I loved it, but for like a lot of it, I was like sprinting, and we're on a walk. And
yeah, no, I get that. It's slower.
Take some time, look around, sniff the roses. Yeah. That's how it felt to me. So, we'll see what they get. I like a tandem read, but I'm really hoping for Tamlin.
Me too. I'm praying, actually.
Yeah.
I go light some candles after this, you know. I love Tamlin, unfortunately.
Yeah, can't help it.
Can't help it.
We'll see what she does with him. But yeah, no, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
No. Follow us both. Where can they find you? What is your username?
Antoinette C. Elopes Reads.
Phenomenal. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok. You know I'm scorpiomarsss. You can follow both of us for all of your Acotar updates, everything with Sarah J. Maas. She honestly has some of the best intellectual conversations about all of this, so make sure you go in with correct grammar and kindness. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.